had 2 divorces. My first husband, we lasted 6 months. The second one, we were together for 12 years. And I think when I exited that relationship or started to exit that relationship, I felt like I had failed. And a lot of my work at that time was looking at the end of a relationship differently. And so I think that when we look at the end of a relationship as failure, we want to stay because as people, we naturally want to win. Without understanding that sometimes relationships are just meant for a season or meant to get you to a certain point in your life. Like my first husband, I used to run track. So look at it like a relay race, right? My first husband was the first leg of my race. My second husband was like the second leg of my race. I don't intend to have 4 husbands, but it is thinking like, okay, this was for this part of my journey. We walked this other part of my journey together and that came to an end. And now it's time to walk the next part of my journey. And that person might not have done the work to walk that part of my journey with me, might not be equipped to support me in that journey. And I might not even desire to support them based on where I'm at on my journey. And so I think that people who stay in relationships for the sake of time because we've been together for so long without understanding or asking themselves, are we still aligned though? Right. I think they do themselves a disservice because now you are literally hitching yourself to something that is not helping you grow just because you put so much time into it. Right. And you can grow so much more if you say, you know what, I'm going to bring this to a close. I respect you. I love you. I honor you for what we have completed in this time frame, but I think it's time to move to the next stage.
Yeah.
So it was costing me about 20 grand a month to run that household with the cars, the insurance, giving her cash, paying all the bills, about 20 grand a month. But, I cheated, I was a dog ass nigga. So I started, I had some babies outside of her. And so she wanted to get the cash. That's when the situation changed, when she started wanting the cash instead of the situation being what it was and being in control of it. But the fact that I cheated, and I think a lot of women do that, they take it on the, if you a bad boyfriend, then that means you're not a good father.
Us having sex with women outside the marriage is not cheating. We are men who bosses. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter how much we love you, boo at home, we must let off steam with strangers. Kwame too nice to say it like that. I have never in my life been with one woman. Never. Never. Use this in court, bitch. But I'm saying, like, Kwame, you didn't, in my opinion, you didn't cheat. You just took advantage of what happened when you can afford the wretched offspring of
she messed it up, in my opinion.
I have a serious question for you. If you're not a Christian, why get married? I'm not saying that only Christians should get married. But what I am saying is, as the years go by, it makes less and less sense for non-Christians to get married. Because typically, non-Christians get married for a handful of reasons. 1, it was the next step. 2, I was happy at the time. Those are typically the only 2 reasons. I was happy and it was the next step. Let me tell you something. Those are not good reasons to get married. And so when we talk about the marriage statistics, there's very solid reasons for the marriage statistics. 1 is people are getting married for the wrong reason. 2 is people are getting married because of what they can get out of it. And 3, people are getting married and still feeling as though I can be the same selfish person I was before I got married. And so that's the issue. Like if you look at the Bible tells you about love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is all these different kinds of things. It tells you, hey, once you get married, if you divorce outside of a handful of reasons, like it says you can get divorced in the case of adultery. But outside of that and a handful of other reasons, once you get married, it's permanent. And it's so strict on it that it says if someone gets a divorce outside of the rules in which you are allowed to get a divorce, if you marry a divorced person, you're committing adultery by marrying them. It's very clear about what a husband is and what a wife is. They shall leave their mother and father, cleave together, and become one flesh. The wife should submit to the husband and honor the husband. The husband should love, protect the wife, even be ready to die for the wife. So the Bible is like, hey, the reason to get married is because you are agreeing to love and serve this person for the rest of your life until death, and they are going to do the same for you. And the only way out of it is adultery and one or two other reasons. That is it. If that's not the reason you get married, then no wonder why people can't keep their stuff together. Because what did you get? Like, listen, once again, because I'm happy right now, not a good enough reason. Because I like what they're doing for me, not a good enough reason. Because it's the next step, not a good enough reason. That's why I played those two clips at the beginning. You see the first woman, she's a huge part of the problem. It's all about her and what she wants and what she can get. The whole time she's talking, it was all about her. What can you do for me? What can you help me with? This part of the leg of my race. What can you add to my life? This part of my journey. Can you serve me? Can you help me? Me. And so it makes sense that she's been divorced multiple times. And if she gets married again, probably going to be divorced again. Because she's getting married, and it's not about two fleshes becoming one. It's about her serving me, making me happy, helping me the next chapter in my life. So yes, it makes sense why a lot of women can't last in a lot of marriages, because they never got married for the right reason to begin with. Now let's get into the second clip. Because the men have the same problem, it just shows up in a different way. She's all talking about me this and serving me and helping me. And what are the men talking about? Themselves as well. Because I should be able to do this, and I should be able to cheat, and I should be able to have other women because I'm a boss and I got money. And so that clip was so crazy because it was like the lack of awareness. Oh, guys always talk about women getting a divorce and breaking the contract. Listen, fellas, when you are getting with these women, are you telling these women up front, hey, I have no intention of being with just one woman. I have every intention of cheating on you with other women. Are you telling them that before you get married? Before you get into a long-term situation? Before you cohabitate? Before you have kids with them? That's the whole thing I was thinking the whole time I was watching that clip. Before you... And the clip was so crazy because Kwame Brown said what? I was a dog. I was cheating. I had babies outside of the relationship with an S. Multiple babies outside of the relationship. So let me ask you this. Did you tell that woman prior to that, hey, I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna move you in, I'm gonna take care of you, you're gonna have my kids, but then I'm gonna have outside kids too? Did you tell her that? I'm pretty sure you didn't. Same thing with Corey Holcomb. He said that I'm a boss and I'm going to be with other women. When you got married, did you tell that woman that you were getting married to hey, I plan on being with other women? No. And so that's the issue. What is the point of getting married if you want to be with other women? No, seriously, let's just think about this. Why are you getting married? Why are you getting into these marriage adjacent situations, having kids, moving in, paying all the bills? Why are you doing that if you have no intention of being faithful to this woman? Especially when you haven't even established with her from the jump that, hey, I'm going to be with other women. You think it's wise to marry a woman and then just spring this is crazy. That's why marriage doesn't work so much these days, because people are getting into it for what they can get, what I want to do, what serves me. So I'm a boss. I get to have other women. Or I'm a new age woman and I got my own thoughts and opinions. And so if the man's not serving me, then I get to leave. He's helping me to run this leg of the race. That's the problem. Everybody's selfish. Everybody's getting married for the wrong reasons. Everybody's looking for what they can get and not what they can give. So once again, if you're not really a Christian, if you don't have no problem with sex outside of marriage, and most importantly, if you don't see nothing wrong with getting a divorce, meaning like if you don't have a problem with, okay, this is not going well, I'm going to leave. If you don't have no problem with divorcing your partner because you're not happy in that season, why get married? That's why marriage isn't working, because, listen, marriage is not for everybody. And most people probably shouldn't be getting married. Because once again, if you don't plan on being faithful, and if you don't have no problem with leaving when things ain't going your way, then what was the point of it in the first place? That's the issue. A lot of people think that, okay, getting married is just like the next step. It's just the next thing to do. We've been together for a couple of years. No, that's not no. And so that's why things aren't working out, because what was the reason for you doing it in the first place? You didn't really have a good reason in the first place. You shouldn't have done it in the first place. If you're going to have outside babies with an S, you probably shouldn't have moved that woman in the first place. If you a boss and you can have other women, you probably shouldn't have got married in the first place. If it's all about you and your journey and your happiness and men taking you to the next level and serving you, then you probably shouldn't have got married in the first place. That's the actual problem. That's the problem. It's not marriage. It's the people getting into marriages for all the wrong reasons.
I cheated. I was a dog-ass nigga, so I started, I had some babies outside of her. She messed it up in my opinion.
I cheated. I was a dog-ass nigga, so I started, I had some babies outside of her.
She messed it up in my opinion.
Are you out of your mind right now?
This is a sick Negro.